Hello and welcome to this short video where today we're going to have a look at how you can install DBmarlin onto a Windows server. So currently DBmarlin only supports Linux 64-bit distributions, but the good thing is these days you can run Linux under Windows. So as of Windows 2019, if you head to this page, you can copy this PowerShell command, fire up a PowerShell window and run that. And what that will do is install the WSL, which is the Windows subsystem for Linux. So having done that, the next thing you then need to do is to choose a Linux distribution. I'm going to choose this Ubuntu 20.04 and that's downloading now. It's about 430 megabytes. So once that's come down, we can copy the file from our downloads folder. I'm just going to put it here. If we head back over to Microsoft documentation, we'll follow the steps here. So it wants to do it using PowerShell, so we'll just follow these steps. So next thing is to rename the file that we've just downloaded. So rename item, and all this is doing is changing the APPX file and renaming it to a zip file. 2.zip, and then we can run the next command, which is to extract the archive. So this is basically unzipping the file into the current directory. So now if we run dir, we can see there's the zip file, and that's the extracted version there, the Ubuntu folder that's just been created. And if we cd into the Ubuntu and again do a dir, you can see there's this executable file, Ubuntu 2004.exe, and all we need to do is run that. Now I'm going to speed up the video here because this normally takes a few minutes, but once it completes we can enter a username and password. So I'm going to call mine DBmarlin. This is my Linux username now, and you can see now we're actually at a Linux command prompt, so we can type commands like uname and see that it's a Linux OS. -a if we want to see a bit more, we can use Linux commands like pwd to see the working directory. So having done that, if you ever want to get back into Linux, you can do it from a PowerShell command. I'll show you some interesting WSL commands. So WSL config/list shows you any Linux distributions. It's showing the Ubuntu 20 that we've just installed. And if you just type WSL on its own, that'll take you straight into a Linux shell. So again, if you run uname-a, you can see we're now inside of Linux. So the next thing here now is to, if we cd and then check that we're in the home directory, so home/DBmarlin, now we can actually get on with installing DBmarlin. So wget lets you download the installation package, which is this tar.gz file. We can then extract that with tar-xzvf, and see all the files extracting there, which will take maybe 30 seconds or so. And now the files have extracted. If we do an ls, we can see we've got a DBmarlin directory that's been created. ls again, we can see the directory structure. First thing we need to do is run the configure.sh. This will prompt us to accept a license agreement, set some default ports, choose the profile of machine, and if you're happy with that, click continue. As this is an initial install, it's going to create the database, so this will take a few seconds here to actually build the database. And once that's completed, it gives a message saying we can run start.sh to start up the services. So start.sh, everything looks good. You can also run status, shows us the three main processes there all running. So the last thing that remains then is to go into the browser. So we chose port 9090, and if all's gone well, you should be able to access the DBmarlin user interface on port 9090. So that's all for today. Thanks for listening, and look out for more videos soon.